الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كلام الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. أعاذنا الله منها وإياكم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. ويقول جل وعلا: يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. ويقول جل وعلا: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I'm filled with a lot of gratitude to be amongst you guys today, alhamdulillah, to be given the privilege from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to stand in front of you today to deliver a message on taking advantage of Ramadan bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And I also thank Abu Abdullah for granting me the opportunity as well to be able to speak in front of you guys. I live in Salt Lake City. I come here, alhamdulillah, every now and then. And this is a wonderful community to be a part of. So we should be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be a part of such a community, to be a part of such a masjid, that leaders are spending their days and nights struggling and striving to be able to provide us things that we don't really see to be as opportunities for us. And inshallah, in the short khutbah that we have, I just wanted to touch on a few things on taking advantage of the month of Ramadan bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And And before I dive into that topic a little bit, I just want you guys to know, every human being has an inner struggle. And for me, it's the reason why I want to do a khutbah. It's the reason why I want to be able to deliver a message. And one part of me says, how significant are you to be able to stand in front of the Muslimin and deliver a topic? Because I don't see myself as worthy to be able to stand in front of you to deliver something. But another part of me says, every human being has a unique story. Every human being has a unique story. And they need to be able to share that, regardless of how insignificant that they feel. And as I was coming here, I was thinking, why am I even speaking? Why am I even trying to deliver a message? And that's when I remembered when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was guiding me back in 2008. Even though you're born Muslim, there's a point of guidance. And I'm pretty sure that the individuals who came back to Islam can attest to that. But as Muslims, we take that for granted. And I remember when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was guiding me, it was my first ever trip to the Middle East. And I was on my regular routine as a teenager here in America. I don't want to incriminate myself talking about some of the routines that the youth have here that we should be focused on, because they are the next wave of generation that is to come to lead our ummah bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And I remember coming back very frustrated, because I saw the condition of the ummah, and we have to connect any topic to the condition of the ummah bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So to understand the value of taking advantage of Ramadan, we really have to take a step back and understand the value and the situation and the condition of our ummah bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And when I was looking at the condition of our ummah, as many of you guys have noticed, it is not one that many of us could be too proud of, to be quite honest with you, based on the condition that we find ourselves in. And as a youngster, you tend to think, how can you solve these big problems? And you start to focus on the external world, and you're like, how can I defend Islam from the enemies of Islam? But then you think back and you start to reflect and you say, let me look at the big picture. Let me not get caught up in my mentality of trying to defend Islam. First of all, how do you start with yourself? Is what I was asking myself. And then the biggest thing that I saw was, it is not what is being done to Islam or Muslims, but rather it is what the Muslims are doing to themselves and our deen. And in order for us to understand the importance of taking advantage of this blessed month of Ramadan, we really have to solidify that point. And everyone here is on different levels, right? There are the leaders of our communities, from the imam to the assistant imam and on down from the management. And the general musallin, from the individuals who are working a regular 9 to 5 like majority of us, to the individuals who have well-paying jobs. Every single person has an opportunity and an obligation and a responsibility according to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed upon them. Just like Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu said, account for yourself before you are accounted for. And as I was thinking about the topic for today, I think I have more questions for you guys than answers, and inshallah I'll give whatever capacity that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed me. So, by understanding that we have responsibilities, by understanding that we have obligations as individuals within our communities and ummah, and as a collective group, we have to look at the opportunity of Ramadan as nothing less than an opportunity. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And I know some of you guys are really on top of it, and you guys are getting ready for Ramadan. And some of us are barely struggling to keep our work and life balance and everything else together, so we don't even have the room to be able to get ready for Ramadan. So this would be an opportunity as a reminder, first and foremost to myself and everyone else here, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And just to cover the basics, we all know, but sometimes it just takes a little bit pondering to kind of realize how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has designed and allowed us to take advantage of Ramadan, or put us in a position to take advantage of Ramadan. And the first thing is, it's the 9th month of the Hijri calendar. And it is not by mistake that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put it there exactly. Because we go through the whole year committing sins and transgressions of multiple levels. Every single one here. But then before the new year begins, there's a stop, and right before that, a couple of months before that, 3 months left until the end of the year, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us an opportunity to course correct, gives us an opportunity to purify our hearts and souls, gives us an opportunity to get motivated and inspired, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And in order for us to take complete advantage of Ramadan, we really have to understand there's only 4 things that we really have to worry about. And if we don't have each one of these elements, it just means that we're not going to be taking advantage of Ramadan to the best of our abilities. And every single one here is in desperate need, not a want, desperate need to take advantage of this blessed month. And if you don't realize that, that's the only thing that would be of utmost importance for us to take away from this. It is that we are in desperate need for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us. We are in desperate need of purifying our hearts and souls. The first thing that we have to understand, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, is that we have to get inspired and motivated. You cannot do anything, you cannot accomplish anything without any inspiration or motivation. I don't care what it is, whether that's the goals and dreams that you have for your deen or for your dunya. You have to be inspired and motivated, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And the second thing we have to do is get ready, plan and prepare effectively and efficiently. If you think about any goal that you have achieved, it is because you have done your due diligence in planning and preparing the details, the big picture as well as the details. So you have to have some level of planning and preparation, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And the other thing that is left is when you have planned and prepared is to execute, to be able to put in the work. Because we know how tiring Ramadan can be for those who are not planned and prepared well. So making sure that you're putting yourself in a situation to take full advantage, meaning giving full energy, meaning giving full effort, meaning doing the absolute best that you can, because you don't know the simple thing that you could say or do that will change someone's life forever. So sitting on the sidelines thinking that everybody else is going to do the work is not going to be the way moving forward, even in that topic. Even if you feel insignificant in your work, do your part, because you don't know how that is going to impact somebody else. And the last but not least, and one of the most important things that someone can do in terms of taking advantage of Ramadan, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, is to make sure that you use this sanctuary of Ramadan as an opportunity to build your habits. Work on building good habits and slowly but surely getting rid of the bad habits. I don't care if you are the youngest person here, I don't care if you're the oldest person here, and I don't care if you are anywhere in between. We all have habits that are in need of reform. We all have habits that has to change. We all have habits in order for us to achieve whatever goals and dreams that we have in this dunya. We have to change these habits. So you have to, and we have to, and I have to, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, change these habits to be able to move forward in our lives. And how do you know if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted your Ramadan? It is when you leave with your habits, your good habits, you are continuing these habits that you built during Ramadan. But when you're going back to your same lifestyle, that is a point of pain that we have to look at. If the thing that kind of surprised me was when I was in Minnesota for the first time, and then I came to realize, I think it was like around during Ramadan, and then I realized some people were saying there's an Eid party. For some reason, it just didn't click in my mind. That someone celebrates the conclusion of Ramadan with disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And ever since then, I was just thinking like, Eid party, not a halal party. You know, the kind of party that it's one of those things where the genders are mixing. And this is Muslim, but potentially there's alcohol and drugs and all of these different things. Now, if you look at that on the bigger scale, that's sins and transgression out in the open. But we have to ask ourselves, what are the sins and transgressions that we are committing after Ramadan? That we're waiting for Ramadan to end so we can go back to it because of that urge that we have inside of us. Being aware of that is going to be very, very important, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So, for today, it is just to inspire you, to motivate you, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, as the tip of the iceberg, to realize some of these pointers that we have to take advantage of Ramadan. So we have to reflect on ourselves, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. Which area of those 4 elements do we have to put a little bit of focus on, a little bit of attention on, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala? And in the month of Ramadan, there are 3 parts. The first part is the first 10 days. And this is when you start to get used to the fasting and the schedule and everything else that we have. And then the second part is when you start to gain a little bit more focus and momentum, so that we can finish the last 10 days of Ramadan taking advantage of this blessed month of Ramadan. Because Laylatul Qadr is coming. The Tahajjud is coming. The sleepless nights are coming. And I don't mean sleepless nights in a negative way. I mean that in a positive way, because we get to spend it with our Creator. So we have to plan and prepare accordingly, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. Because Aisha radiallahu anha mentioned that the Prophet ﷺ used to put in a lot more work and a lot more effort during the last 10 days of Ramadan. خَيْرٌ مِّنْ أَلْفِ شَهْرٍ, one of the nights, is better than 1,000 months in terms of reward. Now, majority of us are either students and or are working individuals. Now imagine if your employer or your teacher told you, the points that you're going to get for this assignment, I'll multiply it by 1,000. How hard would we work? How hard would we work to be able to achieve that? But sadly, the majority of us are not really aware of that, and very few of us are taking advantage of the real business of life, which is to take advantage of the good deeds that we have to accumulate and get rid of the bad deeds that we've accumulated already. And I know everyone here is on different stages of life, just like the seasons of the weather. There are seasons of emotions that we're all going through. In general, there's 2 categories. You can be having the best time of your life, and you're living an amazing life right now, and everything is perfect. And I think that's very few of us, for the most part, depending on the reality. And then on the other hand is those individuals who are struggling. Those individuals who are having fights with their families. Individuals who are having fights with their spouses. Who are barely holding on to a job, fearing that they might get fired tomorrow. Or maybe you don't have your house anymore. any situation that you find yourself in, Ramadan is the sanctuary. Whether you classify yourself to be in a good state of life or in a miserable state of life. In each of those opportunities, for one, it is to gain closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in both situations, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And I would like to focus on the last few minutes that we have on one particular point. Because when I was thinking about what are the ways that I personally can take advantage of Ramadan, how can I get myself inspired and motivated? How can I get myself ready for Ramadan? How can I put myself in a position to be able to take advantage of Ramadan? How can I build these habits after Ramadan and continue these good habits? And we all know every single person here has a particular list that they have on how to get ready for Ramadan. And I had roughly about 4 or 5 that I wanted to share with you guys. But I want to point out and focus on one particular point. Because I feel like if you get this part of it down, then this is like getting to the top of the hill, bi'idhnillahi. And I'm not saying throughout Ramadan you're not going to face challenges. But if you can get this part of it down during Ramadan, then the rest of it will start to become easy, bi'idhnillah. And this is something that I guarantee you, by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that every single human being is going through. It is the emotions that we are experiencing. It is the heaviness that we feel in our hearts. It is the heaviness that we feel in our minds, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And while you're thinking about that, think about all the stuff that is roaming in your heart and mind. Somebody right now is thinking about something completely different than what we're talking about here. And somebody here is probably most likely focused on the thing that we're talking about, which is taking advantage of Ramadan. Somebody's thinking about their children, somebody's thinking about money, somebody's thinking about cars, somebody's thinking about a job, somebody's thinking about a potential spouse, and everything else in between. But I'll conclude the first part of the khutbah, and the second part of the khutbah, I'll tell you, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, the thing that will help you, and it relates to writing things down. If you're already good at writing things down, making lists, this will be easy for you. If you're not, then you have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to express yourself to. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to take advantage of Ramadan. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. All praise and thanks are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and may the peace and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon the final messenger and seal of all prophets. And inshallah, I wanted to tell you guys something that benefited me tremendously. And if you're already doing this as a habit, as a reminder, if you're not doing this right now, this is a wonderful opportunity to take, at the very least, this point from this. And it relates to the first point, which is inspiration and motivation. If you're asking yourself, why am I not inspired? Why am I not motivated for anything, let alone Ramadan? It is because what you are carrying in the eternal world is too much for you to even think about anything else. So my advice to myself and the brothers and sisters here is to unload all of these things that you have running in your internal world, whether it's your heart and soul, whether it's your mind, primarily. The best way to do that is to just write a to-do list completely, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And sometimes you might think to yourself, I already know this, I already do this, but are you doing it to the level that you could reap the rewards from it? Because knowing something is different than actually doing something. And doing something is completely different than reaping the rewards of what that entails. So, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, the best way that you could start off the Ramadan is to dump everything that you've had in your mind. And it is going to feel like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has lifted weight off of your shoulders. Now again, as I said, if you're not used to writing, talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just express your pain. And on a lower level, talk to human beings where you tell them parts of what you're going through. Like for example, if you know one of your friends is good on the deen, you ask them, I'm struggling with this area, how can I improve on that? And you talk to enough individuals without complaining to them, because we should only be complaining to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then you will start to see these negative emotions that we are carrying inside of us are going to start being released, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, and that will open a huge weight, that will lift a huge weight off of our shoulders. And then you'll find inspiration and motivation that you think that you've never had before. So keep that in mind, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. I know the individuals who do this and understand this, I actually know that this is going to be very beneficial for them. And for those who have not tried this before, or this is completely new to you, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, give it a try. And I advise you, bi'idhnillah, that this is going to be one of the most amazing things that you could do. Because that creates capacity, that creates capability for you to do other things in your life. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to take advantage of this blessed month of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to purify ourselves, to purify our hearts, to purify our families, to work on uniting and loving each other, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to stop doing these sins and transgressions that are not only killing us inside, but also degrading the ummah as well, bi'idhnillah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you guys. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله سيدنا محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آله إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبارك على محمد وعلى آله محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آله إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح